I'm Michael McLaughlin, and you're watching Niagara Pro Tips. Hi, and welcome back to our multi-part series on Niagara Cloud Suite. This is part 11, and it's an update to the web UI. Now, since we recorded back in November, there have been some changes, and the last change was published on May 28th, 2025. One of the first things you'll notice when you're inside the customers and you're looking at all the devices, you have an icon in the upper right-hand corner. This icon is for alarms, and if we click on it, it will show all the alarms from all the stations that have been configured to be routed to the cloud. Now we'll get into a little more details on this later, and part 12 will cover it in even more detail. So let's go back to where we were inside of our customer where we have all of our projects. I'm going to narrow down the projects to one device here, and we can see under services I have all blue colored icons. Now Niagara Data Service is two particular microservices. So we have data service and we have alarms, and you'll notice there's a very light faint line around it, kind of signifying it's part of one subscription service, but also the fact that they're blue shows that I am subscribed. If they were not blue, I would not have a valid subscription. When we look at the right, we have a kebab menu, and currently this menu now has delete in it, but it used to also have edit, usage metrics, and re-registration, and all of those have been moved to the device info page. So if we go back over to our device and the name itself that's highlighted in blue, if I click on it, I'm taken to a device info page. So the missing items that we just discussed, re-register is now located up here. Edit, simply click in the field and type in what you might want. And same thing with project and location. And then usage metrics actually has its own tab now. And we can see that little graph there. So back to the details page. So details says the name of the device, the location. This alarm section says I have 870 unacknowledged alarms. Now these alarms are the entirety of the station, not just the class that's routing to a Niagara data service. Usage metrics, right? So I have consumed 372 megabytes of 600 gigabytes of egress. All right, device details, we have our host name. Then we have our active subscriptions, our data service, Niagara Recover. We can get to that particular service by simply clicking on that, and Niagara Remote would open a new remote session. We have a Histories tab now, and inside this Histories tab, you can see the histories a little cleaner, and then we also get our telemetry ID, and this is great if you're using any of the API calls. It's a quick way to find what that ID is. You can actually search for things in here, so history name, tag ID, and tag value. So something like a tag ID of haystack 4 air tag that I may have applied, and then that would go ahead and sort that. We have the alarms tab, and this will show the alarms that are being routed up to the cloud, and we can see the statuses of them. They don't roll up how you would normally see them in Workbench. It's each individual record, but I can actually click on this here. I can add a note for alarm, and hit OK. I can also check off a couple of these guys and acknowledge or export. If you export, it's just the alarms that you checked off. Acknowledge will then acknowledge those alarms. The notes and the acknowledgements do go back to the station. And like I said earlier, these will be covered in more detail in part 12 of our series. And we also have a little filter by icon, and we also have a show hide columns. One of the items that are listed up here is export. Now this is important. So export, if I click on this button, I can give the export a name, and then I can select what kind of data that I want to be exported. Telemetry, which is the histories, right? The model, which is the semantic data or tags that have been applied to everything, and then recover, your backup. Okay, so you can pick the time frame and then export, so that will take the data out of Niagara Cloud for other usages. and we will find those now in a new place. So if I go up here to the hamburger menu, I have a saved exports. And you can see I did one back in June, and it's got the recover, telemetry, and model data. And I can either delete this or I can go ahead and choose download, and that will download a zip file that you can then extract later. All right, so back to the hamburger menu. Let's see what some other stuff that is new. So under users and roles, one of the things that you will see is that there is a blue add user button. So if the customer persona, if they already have a Niagara Central account and have been set up, you can put in their email here, and then under customer, these are the buckets that you have onboarded. So if I start typing, these are the different customers that I have access to as a system integrator or a partner role, and I can say what kind of roles they want, and I can send an invite. And so when I send that invite, I can see that I have some pending invitations here. I can resend that, and the user that you added will receive an email that will walk them through the process of being connected to the customer persona. And let's see, in the hamburger menu we also have an audit log section, so we can look at the audit log and we can see some of the things that have happened throughout the station. Just like all the search functions in Niagara Cloud, it searches all the columns, so I could search for my name and see all the things that have my last name in it, so my backups, me as the actor, and then you can also export, and export will export all the data, not just what you just currently filtered on. And that is our updates on what is new in the web UI. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.